A well in the woods. We found it by complete accident. My friends Jay, Cam, and I had skipped school that day. We had learned in the past that going to the mall wasn't the smartest idea, unless we wanted to get arrested for truancy and get grounded by our parents. So instead, we decided to go and bullshit in the woods behind Jay's house.
This is gonna be a boring-ass day. Why couldn't we just go to your house and play GTA?
Cam asked Jay as we trekked through the trees.
Because my grandma's at home, I told you. She'll call my dad and he'll kick my ass. Besides, this is bringing back memories from the good old days. Don't you guys remember playing out here when we were kids?
I didn't. We had played near the edge of the woods countless times, but this was undoubtedly the furthest we had ventured.
Jay, I hope you know where you're going. I don't want to get lost. Please, I think I know my own backyard.
This isn't your backyard. It's the wilderness. I actually don't think anybody has ever been out here before.
Oh yeah? Then who built that? Asked Cam, pointing ahead of us.
We all came to a stop. Just up ahead, in a clearing, was a well. It was made of brick and looked ancient. Though I had seen wells before, there was just something about this one. I felt immediately attracted to it. We approached it and peered down inside. It was, as expected, very deep, and Jay was the first to pull a penny out of his pocket.
Let's see just how deep it is.
Wait! Shouted Cam, his eyes wide. Make a wish before you throw it in.
Okay. I wish for $1 million, Jay said sarcastically, tossing the penny into the well.
We waited to hear it land, but never did. Jay looked around mockingly, then shrugged.
Well, I guess it's broken.
Come on, we can chill here. I brought my comic books. The rest of the afternoon went without incident. It wasn't until we got back to Jay's house, however, that we heard the bad news. Jay's parents had been in a nasty collision on the freeway. Their bodies had been burned beyond recognition.
Jay didn't come to school for a few days after that,
but Cam and I stopped by his house eventually to check on him. Jay was acting like any kid who had lost his parents would, despondent. But when he spoke, as Cam and I played games, he didn't talk about his parents.
You guys remember that wish I made at the old well?
Cam and I looked at each other, then at Jay.
Yeah? What about it? I asked.
Jay looked like he was at a loss for words for a moment, but then he replied,
My parents had life insurance, and I got a lot of money. I mean, it's not millions, but it's a lot. A whole lot.
Jay, you aren't suggesting your wish had something to do with your parents, right? Asked Cam. Jay stared at us, then tilted his head.
Only one way to find out.
We approached the well a little bit more apprehensively now. Jay reached into his pocket and pulled out $1.
Whoa, exclaimed Cam, looking offended. You're just gonna waste a whole $1 like that?
I have plenty more where this came from, Jay said quietly. He walked up to the well and stared into it.
I wish I was taller.
He let go of the $1 and it fluttered into the blackness below. Jay came to school the next day, except now he was 6 inches taller. Everyone stared in astonishment at him when he walked into class, and when he sat down, he grinned at Cam and me.
What's up, munchkins?
After that, we treated the well like it was our god. Making numerous wishes, we began to learn how it worked. I gave it a penny and asked for a dog. My mom found a mangy old stray later that week and decided to keep it. When Cam offered his skateboard and bike, shoving them down the well, his request for nudie mags resulted in his father accidentally leaving the box of his porno DVDs in the hallway, which Cam snuck into his room. It seemed like the more we offered, the better quality our granted wish would be. Things were fun, for a while, until Jay started acting weird.
Don't tell Cam, he said, as he and I stood near the well eating sandwiches. But I think I can hear a voice down there.
A voice?
What does it sound like?
Jay continued to stare down into the well.
It's hard to describe. It speaks our language, but it sounds like it shouldn't.
His eyes rose to meet mine, and he shook his head. Never mind. Maybe I'm just imagining things. I've been thinking about upping the ante a bit. You ever thought about wishing for attention? Attention? Like what? From my parents or something? No, like from girls. Like Allie, for example. I didn't like where this was going. No, Jay, I don't think we should be making people do things against their will. Who cares? I'll just ask for a blowjob or something, he snickered. I stared disapprovingly at him and he rolled his eyes. Okay, whatever. I won't ask. Happy now? Yeah, I said, finishing my sandwich. The next day at school, however, Cam and I were shocked to see Allie Isaacs sitting in Jay's lap. As she twirled his curls and laughed hysterically at something he had said, he glanced over at me and winked. I was livid. Well, Allie always liked tall guys. Jason, Bobby, now Jay, said Cam cluelessly. I shook my head. She doesn't like him, Cam. He asked the well for her. This is getting out of hand. If I'm being honest, I was more upset due to the fact that I had a thing for Allie too, but I wasn't about to admit as much. I would have confronted Jay, but he avoided me the rest of the day at school. Later that week, however, I got a call from him. He sounded frantic. Listen, man, I just don't know what to do. I keep hearing it. Hearing what? I asked, sitting up in my bed. The voice I told you about, but it isn't natural. I know I'm not crazy. It's telling me to do horrible things. I bit my lip looking around my room. Listen, calm down, all right? I'll come over. We can make a wish. We can wish for the well to just vanish. Forever. Then we'll never have to worry about it again. Really? I mean, if you want to. I think it's a great idea. Great. I'll be over right now. Jay and I met up in his backyard, so his grandmother wouldn't know we were out so late. Then, slowly and cautiously, we made our way to the well. It looked so ominous and creepy this late at night. I stood back, instead allowing Jay to approach it. What do you think we should say? How do we phrase this? And what do we offer it? He asked, leaning against the well and looking down inside it. I don't know, I replied. I was hoping you could help me out with this part. If we really want it to just go away, we probably have to offer something really, really good. Like, That was the last thing Jay ever said. I ran up, shoving him in the back as hard as I could. He let out a single yelp as he went tumbling headfirst into the well. I stood there for a moment, listening for what I knew would never come. There was no landing sound, or splash. You see, Jay wasn't the only one who could hear the voice. I could too. And it was clear in telling me what it wanted. I don't know if I gave Jay to a demon, or a god, or some kind of telepathic creature that time had forgotten about and had become a part of the earth. What I do know, however, is that I got an abundance of riches. My dad won the lottery, and then, by some strange miracle, my mom did too. Jay had never got this wishing thing down right, but I was a pro.